All right.
Giving up indicators.
Welcome back. Hello. Welcome to your mom's favorite podcast. Tried and true classic, everyone's favorite. As I explained in the episode a little bit, it's named after Mrs. Allender, who is the wonderful mother of my friends Will and Ed. Their mom has listened to every episode, so as far as I know, it's a favorite podcast. So to kind of make that a reality, I called it that. So pretty much, it's just me and my friends goofing around. So essentially, what happens in this one is we just talk about sort of whatever we want, and we get into some fun stuff. We learn about my foray into sports betting. We learn about some fun injury stories, and just kind of have fun. We have a good time. So hopefully we'll be putting out more of these soon. I'm working on this along with Catholicos, which is my other podcast, and I'm going to try and get more of those out for the rest of this year. So keep an eye out for both of those. Both this one and the other one, obviously. And I think that's about it. So yeah, enjoy this one, and you may see me later in the video again because I did make a small cut, but I'll explain why later. So yeah, enjoy. Your mom's favorite podcast. Oof. It's good to be back. So again, to clarify, as I feel I will do every episode from now until eternity, the reason it's called Your Mom's Favorite Podcast, William Allender's mom, Mrs. Allender. She's listened to every episode of it so far. Shout out Mrs. Allender. Thank you for listening every time. It's been great. That's a lot of cameras. That's like... Yeah,
you should be like a little more intimidated than
I'm very intimidated. Anything I do is on recording.
That's right.
Anyways, yeah, so...
Should have got one like over the shoulder.
Yeah, dude. To this angle. Yeah, so it's good to be back. We're in a new space. It's our attic. We're not in an elevator anymore. The sound quality, way better. Yeah. Shout out sports betting. Paid for the sound quality stuff. That's not a joke.
I have no frame of reference for what just happened there. You're gonna have to tell me that.
So I hit really big on a sports bet.
Oh yeah.
And I used some of that money to buy these microphones.
Nice.
But
hello.
Yeah. So sound quality has improved drastically.
We like that. Yeah.
But yeah, so it's good to be back. It's good to be back with your mom's favorite podcast. So we got Joey and Miggy. They were just with us on Catholicos, which is the new podcast that we're launching. We being me. I keep saying we because I'm so used to having Sam here. Sam had been with me for such a long part of this, and now he's in Arizona. But anyways, so that's a wonderful ad. Am I depressed quiz? Thanks.
After that podcast, maybe a little.
maybe a little. There was some real talk in there. All right. So I don't have anything directly directed. Ooh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Nice
I'm so good at running a podcast, man. Mm-hmm. I talk so goodly. So there were a couple stories we had in the last one that I think we could dive further into. Since we have way more time now, because we have a whole hour of just nothing planned. I have a couple would you rather questions if we really want to get into those. I'm kind of going to use those as a safety net.
Okay. That's
fair.
That's fair.
There was one story that you guys were going to ask me about, if I remember correctly, but I don't remember which one it was. It had something to do with spiking on a nun.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, during a bide, yeah.
So, yeah, obviously St. Gertrude's Youth Group, huge 9 square culture.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. For me, it was great.
Whatever.
being 6'4" really helps when you're playing 9 square.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get into it too much.
And that's where the story comes in, because I'm used to playing against other guys my height, or people that don't care that much, or are able to be spiked on. They are, they're younger people. They're, a little more agile and quick.
Generally.
Yeah. Or, they're tall. It's one of the two. They're either agile and quick, or they're tall when you're playing 9 square. Yeah. Not a lot of tall, agile, and quick people that play 9 square, at least that I played with. But anyways, so when you get good at a game where there's like a spiking element involved, you just get into, and you're a tall guy and your thing is spiking, you get into spike mode. And so, my thing is if I see someone shorter than me, my instinct is boop. So we're playing 9 squared abide because, St. Gertrude's. Yeah. So I'm going through the line. I get in, I get like 3 or 4 squares in, and there were some sisters that were playing with us. And I think they had like, because you can very easily let someone get to the middle in 9 square. It's very easy to set someone up and say, you're going to the middle and get them there. So I think they had done that with this one sister, or she was just like in front of me working her way up. But whatever it was, is she was in front of me and I was in square like 4 or 5. So 9 square is a 3x3 grid, and you like work your way through until you get to the middle, because the middle is the golden square. Yeah. Of course, there are differing opinions on how the middle works. How I played was the middle is the king square, so you get nothing, and you have to just fight to survive. Yep. Now, at Catholic Bearcat, it's, that person gets to serve. No. I
didn't know that.
I didn't even know that Catholic Bearcat was
you have to
that
continue
culture.
to prove your skill by continuing to be served to. You don't get to serve the ball. You are served to because you're the king and you've earned your dominance. You don't get, here, have the ball now and get to serve it to whoever you want. No. You're constantly at risk, just like a normal king. But anyways, that's a whole nother conversation that I could go on a whole like hour-long rant about that. But I won't, because this story is way more worth it. So we're playing. Shit.
You're all right.
I'm so good at running podcasts.
Yes.
So we're playing 9 square, working my way up, get to about square 4 or 5, and ball comes towards me. I jump up. I see a short person next to me, and just see red and go wha-bam. Ball lands. I land. Everyone goes, Brendan, what did you do? And I looked, and I was like, oh no. And it was this like probably 65-year-old. I think she had was foreign too, but it's this nun. And I'm like, I'm out. See you guys. I just left. I just walked to the back of the line. I was like, no, you stay. This is on me. And I think I went to confession afterwards, and I was like, I spiked on a nun today.
As one does. Yeah.
That's I think that's top. That was commandment number 0 is don't spike on nuns. Not commandment 11, 0. Just by default, you should know not to do that. Yep. But so that's my story of the time I spiked on a nun. I've spiked on other smaller people. I feel way less bad about that. Yamming it down on 6-year-olds or 6th graders equally is just as much fun. But a nun, there's just something about it that's this doesn't feel right. But a 6th grader, it's like, you kind of suck. I feel justified in this.
Yeah, you gotta humble them a little.
You gotta humble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A lot of them are way too cocky, and you just boom.
Nice.
By the way, I am taller than you. Yeah. Anyways, what about you guys? You guys have any exciting sports stories of times you dominated people that you should have dominated and then you felt bad about it afterwards?
No, I'm not really a sporty person. Sad to say, it's I don't know, man. You got anything, Joey?
Joe, you've definitely got one.
Yeah, sure.
I've got, I will say that I was always the kid who would play basketball like football.
Yeah.
If
you played power forward, you were playing Draymond Green style, just trucking people.
If you tried to block me on a pick or anything, just no, you would.
She would end up on the ground.
You would be on the floor.
Yeah.
I was always getting the rebounds, but never actually making any points.
No. I score a triple-double on rebounds, blocks, and assists. That's my triple-double. I don't score any points.
There was one time where in rowing, I did rowing my sophomore year of high school, completely on a whim. I had come out of my 3rd concussion in football. I said I was not doing football anymore.
It's reasonable.
And I just had someone that I knew from class who was just like, "Oh, I'm going to rowing practice." I'm like, "That sounds really cool. I want to do that because it's a full body workout while sitting down." I could not enjoy anything more.
The dream.
And so I come to realize that you can very much get hurt in rowing because sometimes the oar gets caught underneath the current, and you can literally get thrown out of the boat by the force of the oar.
Dang.
That never happened to me because I'm at least strong enough to not get thrown out of the boat.
Yeah.
But there was one time while it was like right before a race, we have to basically all of the arms, essentially the rigs, for the oars come off of the boat, and get loaded onto a truck, and then the boat gets put on the truck. We were already late, and we were scrambling to try and put all the rigs on the boat. And so we were the second team. Like, we weren't the first boat. We were the second boat. We were the group of guys who weren't as good. And so we didn't realize that when we had done all of the rigging for the boat, we sat in the boat and we're just like, why are the shoes a little small? Why can't I extend my legs all the way? And we paddle out a little bit, and then the coach is like waving at us on the sidelines and being just like, guys, you can't go out. That's not your boat. We rigged the female boat.
Oh no.
And so we got disqualified because it was just like, you can't race in that. That's not your boat.
Yeah.
And we just like didn't get to race that regatta.
Sucks.
It was just the most defeating. Like, I just was just like, oh wow, that sucks.
Yeah.
And so we had to bring it back and do all the get it unrigged so that the girls could take it, and they're just like, okay, now we have time to go do our thing, and we're sitting there just like, well, we missed our race, so now we're just gonna sit here and do nothing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yep.
Fun. It was always fun though. I enjoyed doing the races. For me though, rowing took up a lot of time. We had to like drive from school all the way down to the river. We rode on the Ohio River like every once like third Saturday, which was always fun and really terrifying because the barges are a lot bigger when you are in a tiny little boat.
Yeah.
And then and then the wake that hits you, it just feels like you're almost like horizontal. And so, but it's just like I enjoyed rowing and just how different of a sport it was.
Yeah.
From tackle football, just being pounded into the ground. Very much a really tough team sport because you have to be like, everyone has to be rowing at the same time. You all have to be rowing at the same power. It is a very coordinated sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I would definitely go back out on the water if I had like just my own little like 1-2 person boat. But unfortunately the trigger finger is what took me out, which essentially is like, it's like carpal tunnel, but when your finger gets locked into place.
Stuck. Yeah.
And you have to physically move your finger out of its locked position.
That doesn't sound
because
fun
the
at all.
tendons just like decide to not work anymore.
Yeah.
Or like they get
I've
stuck.
had that happen a couple times. Yeah.
And so it just came from all of the like pressure that I would put on holding the oar.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I had to get surgery, and I was just like, yeah, I'm
done.
I went into rowing thinking that I wouldn't get injured, and I got injured, and so But I didn't get
Yeah.
I didn't get a concussion, so that's what mattered.
There you go.
You know what?
Yeah.
At the end of the
winning
day,
those is a good thing.
But now
That's
I'm
all you can ask
boxing,
for.
so
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. That's the move.
You go,
Right?
I'm gonna wake up and go sparring tomorrow. It'll be great.
Yeah.
No more.
3 concussions? Those are rookie numbers. you gotta pump those up.
Dude, I know plenty of people with like 5 or 6. I know one guy that I think might have 7.
Oh my gosh.
Personally, never had any.
Yeah,
Even though I played
yeah.
like Ultimate results in a decent amount of concussions actually from like ground contact, like just landing hard. But I didn't lay out, so I never had to deal with that. I did. So when we played Ultimate at Ascend, which is the SPO retreat. Look it up yourself. It's Ascend. It's cool. Go to it.
Do your own research.
It's the SPO winter break retreat that's similar to Seek for Focus. Ascend is to SPO as Seek is to Focus, and they're both great retreats. I've personally never been on Seek, but I've heard so many good things about it. But Ascend is what I have chosen to go to in the past, and it's such a great experience. So we took a chance to play Ultimate because that's a big SPO thing. SPO loves Ultimate Frisbee, and I love Ultimate Frisbee because I played it a lot in high school, so much so that I went to 2 national championships. Whoa.
Yo.
So we were playing on, it was like, we had a little bit of open time after like the evening session. I think it was like the second day, and so we go out to this baseball outfield at a high school about like 10 minutes away. And we're just like, all right, we're going to play Ultimate. So we throw some shoes out to like set up end zones. And I'm covering this guy. And, obviously I've gotten so much slower since high school. But so he kind of breaks away from me. I'm cutting across the field, which you never want a defender cutting across the field. That's what results in turnovers. And guess what? They throw it to the guy that I was covering. I go, I'm going to lay out. Just go full permanent, like parallel to the ground. I laid out twice in all of high school. Here I am, senior year of college, super out of shape, not at all in playing shape. I go, F it, why not? Go for it, get the D, pick up the disc, throw a completion, and then I was like, all right, cool, I'm done for today. I got my highlight play in.
There you go.
What sucks is I landed on the guy's knee, but he was fine. But I was like, there was a moment I was like, I might have just destroyed that man's kneecap because... it was one of the older missionaries, and I was like, you good? I went up to him after the game, and he's like, yeah, I'm fine. That was a great play. And I was like, sweet, thanks.
He's at his prime years.
Yeah.
You said he's an older missionary?
Yeah, he's past his prime.
Yep.
Actually, I don't think he is. He's still very much in his prime. He was playing great all, like, the rest of the day. But, yeah, so the other 2 times I laid out were both just, like, similar, just like, why not? And I just kind of went for it, and both times it worked. And now I'm 3 for 3 on laying out and like getting the play that I wanted. Yeah, but it's just a weird. I don't know. Like I can like dive into pools. I can like knee slide for Ultimate. I just can't lay out. Like it's just a very weird. There's some disconnect between like my body and just going like that.
Just going full Superman.
That's like all it is like you're just essentially going full Superman. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. What else can we talk about? What else? You guys got anything else fun?
I feel like sports is not.
Sports is kind of
sports is not mine.
Sports is going into a dead end.
I'm sorry to let you guys down.
Nikki, what you got? Anything fun?
I got nothing. I mean,
you got something.
I play volleyball in the summer, but that's about it.
Volleyball's a classic. It's another spiking sport. That's another sport. I can't do the one thing.
No. I always let people down when I'm in like the middle front position. Yeah, that's just the worst for me.
That's the setter spot, dog. That's what
I suck at setting. That's the thing.
No. See, you gotta practice that.
Yeah,
you could,
for real.
If you get good at setting, you are the ideal volleyball player because no one else knows how to set.
Yeah.
Everyone else is garbage
Clearly
at setting.
Not me as well.
So if you make that your thing, everyone's like, dude, I gotta play with Miggy. He's the best setter.
I don't like being there anyway. I don't want to train myself for to get stuck in that spot. But I mean, not.
But if you're good at what that spot does, then
it's true. I did like have a brief stint where I like would punch the volleyball as my serve, and it used to work. I don't know. I need to work on that.
Yeah.
It was more. it felt good to just punch something.
I had a brief stint where I could jump serve, and then I came to play with Catholic Bearcat, and I was like, oh, these people are way more strict about the rules, so I can't jump 3 feet into the field of play as I'm serving. I have to actually jump like just normally. But yeah, volleyball with Catholic Bearcat is always a fun time. We haven't done it in a while. It makes sense because it's cold, but like, I feel like ever since Will has like started coming around less, we just don't play volleyball at all because that's like his thing. But yeah, we definitely need to make a return to the courts once it gets warmer more often.
Nice and warm, yeah.
But yeah,
I'm also looking forward to kayaking season. That's gonna be fun.
Kayaking always a good time.
I mean, I like it enough. I don't know that I like love it.
I'm a big canoe and kayak guy. Yeah. Those are two of my favorite things. I have a cool canoeing story. So I was like 12 doing Boy Scouts with my dad.
Boy Scouts.
And so my dad and I are in this big, we had our big summer trip, and we're up in the Adirondacks, and we had to canoe out to our campsite. So we get in our canoe, and we were like, all right, it's definitely gonna rain sometime soon, but we'll probably get out there before the rain starts. So we start going. We're canoeing out. All of a sudden, we hear this coming up behind us. And we turn around, and it's just this wall of rain.
Oh, gosh.
So we're just start paddling as fast as we can, and we did not beat the rain.
Oh, man. I was all ready to be impressed.
I know, right? But, our camp. But then, so, like, we're just paddling as fast as we can. Even once the rain hits, we're still just, like, trying to cook. And all of a sudden, it just goes whoosh, and disappears and just continues traveling over the lake.
There you go.
Because it's the Adirondacks. There's these giant mountains in New York, and then there's just this valley with a lake in the middle, and that's where we were. And it's just like you're surrounded by mountains, and then there's a cloud just cutting through the middle of them, and like it's raining, and it's like, what is going on? And you just watch it kind of go off across the lake, and it's like, that was really cool.
Huh.
And then another one came, and we're like, shit, go. But we got to our campsite by the time the second one like really hit us. So, and then that one went away, and then we were dry the rest of the night.
There you go.
But yeah,
very nice.
What weird weather experiences are always a good time. So that brings up a good question. What are your guys' favorite weather phenomenons?
What do you mean, Cincinnati in general?
Like here,
like one specific
the fact
weather.
That we're able to get like negative temperbers, and then the next
day be like 60. Yeah. Which is literally this
just
last
felt
week.
Like the fall.
Yeah. No. Like one individual like weather event. So like a rainstorm or like a thunderstorm or a blizzard or a sunny day. It could be a sunny day, or like just really windy. I feel like it being really windy is very undervalued.
See, it kind of depends on like what environment I'm sitting in, because I was like really appreciating it when I was sitting in St. Monica, St. George last night, just like hearing the wind howling. It was like sounding like it was whistling. I was like, this is a vibe. You know? I love it. I don't know that I have any like specific weather phenomena that I'm like.
I'll let you pick where you are and what weather is going on.
Wow. I might need to pass that off to Joey for a second. Let me think about this.
It's hard to think about just like what weather have I experienced. It's just like, I mean,
you've experienced a lot in like the last 3 weeks. So
yeah,
the last month has been a lot of different weather experiences. We had snow, then we had like rain, then we had wind, and now it's been like kind of sunny.
There's too much in Ohio. Sensory overload.
Run the whole like gamut of options.
Yeah. No, I do have a specific like experience that I do recall from COVID time, so 2020. Like me and my best friend Ryan Hingsbergen, shout out to him. We were sitting in a church parking lot like we used to when he used to live near me and my family.
Yeah.
That particular night, it was just the lightning was all in the clouds, so you could see like the brief flashes. The wind was like howling. It was like perfect, like as far as vibes go for like adventure. I was like, this is great. and I would love to revisit a moment like that, or just like there's another when it's like snowy, but it's not like it's not like really really snow. It's when I'm driving and it's like it's creating the swirl patterns on the highway. It's just like a very specific like road trip vibe that I really appreciate there as well. So those are like two environments that I can think of. I'm like, yeah, those are cool.
The like sitting or like driving like with a storm approaching is such like a cool vibe.
Yeah.
Like you can like see the like the thunderhead off in the distance, and you're like either driving towards it or even like just driving like by it, like perpendicular to it, is like, or I guess parallel to it. I keep using those words. I keep getting mixed up.
I'm a big fan of storm walls. Yeah.
Storm walls are just one of the coolest things, especially when you can see the lightning happening in it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm a bigger fan of like the chaotic weather than I am like. I actually wanted to be a storm chaser when I was younger. So
who didn't? Like who didn't?
right.
Everyone wanted to buy a van, buy a video camera,
and just go.
And just go like, oh, tornado.
Sweet, I'm driving to that sucker.
I'm gonna drive through it. Yeah.
No, you know that whole thing about like
I'm cool
planes, like that you have to rely on your instruments because you don't know if you're right side up or upside down, depending on like what like it might be a tornado or a hurricane or I forget which. But I thought that was a really cool fact from a science book my mom had us read when we were homeschooling. So
homeschooling. What an experience.
Homeschooling.
Good times.
Yep.
Good times. Joey, your favorite weather phenomenon? I know what my favorite is. So do you want me to give you my favorite?
Yeah, you keep talking. This is hard.
I think my favorite, again, depending on the scenario, I definitely do love that, like, watching a thunderhead roll in. Especially, I either have to be driving or, like, this sounds really stupid, but standing in, like, an open field where I can, like, watch it.
No, you're
like,
that
like,
is a vibe.
we would be, like, at ultimate practice. And, we're practicing, obviously, in a wide open field because it's ultimate Frisbee. You can't really have trees. But, like, and, like, we would see it start to get dark. And, like, we'd see the cloud form. And then we'd see it, like, start to roll over. And we're like, sweet. We're just finishing up practice. Like, our scrimmage is ending. We're all going to hop in our cars and drive to Chipotle. And, like, just hang out there while it's raining. Yeah. But, yeah, that always brings back, like, good vibes of just, like, watching a storm roll in. And it's just such a cool experience. Like, it really is just so crazy to see like nature at its peak like that, just seeing God's creation like as cool as it is. But then my other favorite is just like sitting inside like with friends like while it's snowing. It's just because like you can go outside or like you can just stay inside and like drink hot cocoa and like
sit by a fireplace,
play some board games, read a book, do whatever, play music, all the fun like indoor vibes of like a snowy day. And my favorite is like when it snows like late at night, so the next morning you're gonna wake up to like a bunch of fresh powder, and
just like hasn't been touched at all.
Yeah.
And no one has to go anywhere the next day, so it's just like sweet. We just get to hang out, like So that's always one of my favorites. Like the other, I think it was like 3 weeks ago when we had that. There was a big snow. My one professor canceled class. I woke up to that notification. I was like, let's go. I'm going to just hang out. This is going to be great. Yeah, that was a good time. But those are my definitely two favorites is like watching a storm form and snowy days. Just because like I like snow. It's weird, but I really do love snow.
Yeah, as much as I hate driving on it, especially because my car is not great.
Oh yeah. That's also true.
But just like I've always enjoyed skiing and just I learned relatively young, and as I've never really gotten to like go out to like Colorado or any of like the big mountain range. I would absolutely love to do that.
Yeah.
But just like being able to just go down the mountain and getting that experience of just like gravity.
that really is what it is.
That first time learning, just being like, oh, there's like nothing stopping me right now.
Pizza.
Yeah, it was like my junior to senior year of high school is when I learned to stop just like relying entirely on pizza and learn how to like actually turn on skis. Yeah. And I was like, dude, this is so much easier. Like, in all honesty, like my ankles would always cramp up when I was pizzaing because like you're just like locking your legs like this, which is a super unnatural position. But then like you learn how to actually turn, and it's like, oh, this is easy.
You both have been to Perfect North, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only place I've ever skied.
Right, exactly.
I've never skied anywhere else in my entire life.
Yeah, so I have a story like in Boy Scouts. We had like some scouting day out there, Perfect North, and at first I was starting off like the very first time we went. I tried snowboarding, sucked at it. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
The second time, I went skiing. And I was like, all right, this seems, kind of easier. I can balance on both my feet. Awesome. Running parallel to each other. Yep. And we started off small. I was like, okay, gaining confidence. Sweet. I worked my way up to like the blue diamond or whatever. Yeah. And it was like backstage and all that stuff. I conquer all those, feeling pretty good about myself. I'm like, sweet, we're gonna go center stage. and as I'm going down, like as soon as I start going, I was like, I immediately regret this whole decision because I couldn't make it like very far without like absolutely crashing off of my skis. And people on the lift were just like a couple like looked over and were just busting out laughing, like seeing me like rise and fall. I remember it because like I was like a kid. I was like, I forget. One of them yelled, was like, "Go back to some other like area." It was like, work on that. Yeah, exactly. I was like, "Yeah, you tried, buddy." It was, it was pretty embarrassing, but
just like that,
valuable.
That first feeling of being at the top of center stage,
dude. It was so much more intimidating than I was anticipating.
Yeah.
So like that was about the same time I learned how to like actually turn. It was like the same day I learned how to actually turn. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it. My friends talked me into it, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Ate it. Just like 20 yards in, fell down.
Okay, so it's not just me who had like the overconfidence.
I'm gonna take a moment. Like, like I had to like crawl my one ski ended up like 20 yards that way. I'm over here. I had to like crawl over to it. People on the one guy on the lift was like, "Hey, you're gonna need this." Just launches me a little shooter of fireball. I was like, I do need this. Wow. But yeah, so I crawled over, got my skis, and ended up down in the bottom of the hill. But
right.
There was one time that my family went skiing at Perfect North, and I took a really hard fall, and I got up. I was fine, and I just like continue on with the day, and it wasn't until later on I kind of just fell again, not as hard, but just like realizing like, okay, my I can like feel my butt is wet, and I like look back and I'm like, oh, my pants are ripped. And I just like tell my mom like, oh my pants are ripped, like I need to go back and stuff, and she's like, oh, we've known.
They didn't tell you that whole time.
They didn't tell me the entire time because they didn't want me to like worry about it at all during the entire day.
Are peak comedians, because that's we knew.
I skied the entire day with just ripped pants.
That's brutal. Yeah, that was actually another one of my favorite weather experiences. Was I was at Perfect North with my friend Jack, and we were going up. They had the white lift open. It was like one of the days where they were busy enough to actually have the white lift that goes to the back of Center Stage and like Clyde's open. And so you're like, sweet. So we were there from I think about 11 a.m. till like midnight. We were just like riding the whole night. It was awesome. And it started like pouring down snow right when it got dark. Like it had like the sun had just set. It was like actually getting dark and it had just started snowing. And so like we were having so much fun, like riding the white lift back up, going down Center Stage, going down like whatever, I think it's like Backstage in Hollywood or the other ones over there.
Yeah.
And it was just such a cool experience of like, just being with it was just me and Jack and like a couple other random skiers that like, we'd started talking to a little bit here and there, but just like going down like in pretty much complete darkness with the snow falling was such a cool like experience and like such a cool vibe. It was a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Perfect North it has its moments for sure. Then, of course, you go when it's like 50 degrees out, everything's ice, and you're just like, I'm going to die.
There was one time that my family took a skiing trip out to like Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. And It was. I don't remember the name of the place,
Was
but
it
it was.
Snowshoe?
I don't remember, but it was a pretty sizable skiing place, and we all decided that we're gonna go down this pretty long skiing trail, and I decided like, oh, I'm gonna let all of my cousins and my family go ahead of me, and then I'm going to speed as fast as I freaking can, shooting between all of them.
No.
And on top of that, I decided that I wanted to record it.
Oh, of course you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta
And
capture
If you're
that.
gonna do it.
But I just did it with my phone. And so
Oh.
I couldn't press the record button. And I had to take my glove off to hit it. But I didn't put my glove back on because I was just like, I'm gonna miss. Like everyone's gonna start to get to the bottom before I'm gonna.
For the time I get my glove back on and get
Oh my
going.
God.
Yeah. And so I just like hold my glove and hold my phone and just go down. And I have all of this. I've cleared off my phone so I don't have it with me. But there's just a video of me like weaving in between all my family, shouting at them randomly, and then I get to the bottom and I just realized that, oh shoot, I think I got frostbite on my hand because I was going so fast. And I just had just my bare hand open to the cold the entire time.
Just desserts, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, you kind of asked for that one.
Yeah.
Dude, that's why you gotta learn how to use your nose to do things on your phone.
Yeah.
I
That's a good pro
can't
tip. Yeah.
I can't express how many times I've been like doing something like my hands are messy or like my hands have stuff in them and I just like use my nose. I'm just like answer call. Like, hey, what's up? Sorry, I need to put it on speaker. Hold on. Use my nose. It's just like it's really convenient that your phone is able to respond to your nose because if it didn't, I would be kind of SOL.
Your nose is your third pointer finger.
Yeah, pretty
exactly.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like all the times I've had to use. There have been a lot of times where I've had to use my nose for my phone. Like I'm carrying something in this hand and like I have this hand open, but like I need to hit something on this side of the keyboard. So like I could reach my thumb over, but it's way easier to just go boop. So, yeah.
It's a very specific use case.
It's weirdly specific, but listen. If I
it
had
works,
$1
yeah.
for every time I was in that situation, I'd have like at least $20.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you specifically like use your thumb to text? Because I've always gotten flack because I use my pointer finger.
Are you one of those people that does like this one?
I'm someone who like uses my pointer finger for like everything on my phone. I don't use my thumbs.
You're a find and peck.
Yeah.
I'm a dual thumber.
I never learned how to type. So
so you're find and peck on keyboards too.
Yes. Because I went through
I feel like I've watched you type before at like D&D and stuff.
the entirety of high school. We were the iPad kids. We were the first ones to have iPads. And so I had a keyboard, like a Bluetooth keyboard to go with
Thank you,
it.
Apple.
Yeah. Screw
And
you.
I decided that it was too much of a hassle to like bring an extra keyboard everywhere with me.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't physically connected and I didn't have a case
Now you
that...
can. They have the little...
That's great innovation there.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure they heard it from high school kids like, yeah, I don't feel like bringing an extra keyboard. And then they're like, all right, fine. No more excuses. Learn how to type.
But like I did everything on my iPad. I didn't like we had a home computer, but like
But you didn't.
I didn't like
Yeah,
do
you're not going to use that.
anything.
Really?
on
You
it.
never did those speed typing tests?
We did.
You did?
But
Okay.
we did it when I was in grade school after I had switched from private school to from public school to private school.
Huh.
We didn't do any sort of typing in public school. And then I get to St. Gabe's. And they're just like, oh, cover your keyboard with this like rubber thing, and you're gonna have to type on it, and you're just gonna have to remember where all the keys are. I'm sitting here just like pressing it with my finger.
Click,
Never put in the time to actually learn because
So-
we'd always
crazy.
have it like
It's
once.
crazy to me.
We'd have like computer once a week, computer lab once a week. So like I never actually really put in the time to do it.
So I never like officially learned how to type. I just kind of forced myself into learning it. Like slowly as time went on, I got more comfortable with like typing faster and faster. My speed still isn't like when I take a speed test, I actually focus more on my inaccuracies than my speed, which is really dumb. Because if I just type full sprint, I can probably type pretty fast. It's just I'll have like, 5 inaccuracies instead of like 2.
Yeah.
Because like when I type like, doing one of those tests how I normally would, it's like I only end up with like 2 inaccuracies the whole time. And it's like, all right, I'm pretty happy with that. Also, if I'm typing like words from my mind rather than like a lot of those are like, follow along with what this says and we'll, grade you. That's so much harder for me than just like typing words from my head. Because like I can type those really fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like following along with
Because
something.
when you were saying that, I was just picturing which keys I would have to hit to write out what you just said. I was like, oh yeah, I guess I do that.
Yeah, but the main reason I learned how to type, Minecraft.
You
get used to the WASD,
those hotkeys.
and you're like, oh wait, that's just ASDF, and then you just put the other one up there.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, and you just kind of start doing that, and
That's
it's like, all right, cool, I'm
There you
typing.
go. That's great. That's hilarious.
So thank you, video games. You
Yeah.
taught me something. You taught me how to type.
There you go. That one's for
Also,
you,
my
Walls.
multiples of
Yeah.
my multiples of 4s, I also learned because of Minecraft. Everything's a multiple of 4. Boom, that easy.
There you go. Yeah.
I guess it's really multiples of 8, but that's just every other multiple of 4.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Video games teach you things. Like
Yeah,
Call of Duty has
let's
taught me a
sit
lot
with
about
that.
guns. We're just gonna sit with that.
Sit with that.
Video games teach you things. That's the moral of the story. That's I know way more about firearms than I did because of Call of Duty than I ever would have before. Specifically the last like 4, because they've gotten super realistic about their like gun builder. So like I know what real like actual military guns are. Is that useful information anyway other than outside of Call of Duty? Not really. Like watching a movie, I can go, oh, that's a M4. Oh, that's an AK-47, which, are the 2 most easy guns to name. But it still feels cool like watching and going, I know what kind of stuff he's using on that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I need to train with handguns more. Like it's been a while since I've like shot one. Like
Dude,
I did
handguns are
rifle and
fun.
shotgun in Boy Scouts, but
Yeah.
yeah, I unfortunately like left Boy Scouts before we got to the age where the troop master would like let us use handguns. So it was like I think you had to be. So they switched it up. So I was really pissed about this. They're like you originally had to be 14 and had already gone through like the rifle and shotgun to use the handgun, and Paco got to do it. And then by the time I get there, I'm 14. I'm like, all right, sweet, it's my time.
Pew, pew, pew.
Nope, they're like actually 16.
Yeah.
And I was like, you guys are the worst.
Screw you guys. I'm leaving.
Why did I even come on this outing? Yeah.
All right, was your troop a here you go, have an Eagle Scout by 13, or were you guys like a hey, you actually have developed as a human being. Here's an Eagle Scout award.
I'd say a mix of both. Yeah, there were a lot of folks who either like came back to it and had obviously really were trying to like earn it. And then you had me who was like, speed running.
You were
I was one of the more speed running. I was like,
okay.
Yeah, I got Eagle Scout at 14, and it was just it was like looking back on that, I was just like, I didn't really earn that. Yeah, I was like, I did like a sweet project for like gosh, what is that old pregnancy center that closed down now? Used to be in Sharonville.
I know right where that is because I used to go to St. Michael's, which is right by there.
On the corner.
Yeah,
the weird one.
like kind of in the middle of that. It's
I
like
can't remember what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the name's evading me at the moment, but yeah, I did a little project for them, and then one of their sister sites. So I felt like proud of that.
Yeah.
But it's like at 14.
But you don't get any of the development of the leadership components of it.
Yeah,
like you know how to lead a project, you don't know how to like do the other leadership
folks.
developmental
Exactly.
things.
Yeah. So like I went on like NYLT. That was a great experience. Again, I felt like I was pretty immature for the time, and just I didn't glean the fruits that I wanted out of it. Looking back, and I mean, I'm kind of glad that I didn't get the like SPL position in the troop, because it's like looking back
I
on it,
never
like
wanted
that would have been
SPL.
a lot of responsibility that I was not equipped
never,
for.
ever.
Even though I was like bummed that I lost the running that time.
Someone asked me once if I want, like in our troop was like, hey, do you ever want to be SPL? I was like, no, absolutely not. That is not something. I have zero desire to run this troop. Like I love my Boy Scout troop.
Yeah.
A bunch of great guys, some lifelong friends from that, but I never wanted to like be in charge because like I had so many other things. Like I had ultimate going on.
Yeah.
I was like starting up jobs and stuff. It was like, this is not the time for this.
Yeah. Summer camp was just the best part of it for me.
See, so where did you go to summer camp?
Friedlander.
Okay,
Friedlander?
so we refused to go to Friedlander.
Really?
I went there.
Why is that?
I went there once, and then I officially quit Boy Scouts.
That bad, huh?
It was I had a great experience. It was just so hot that I like almost got a heat stroke.
So
okay,
so my first year in Boy Scouts, we went to Camp Crooked Creek, which was an awesome experience. Very, very fun time. It was 100 degrees plus every single day.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Our troop always went over 4th of July weekend. Any summer trip we did was over 4th of July week. Which is it worked out great though, because dads would get it off. They would get the week off.
That's true.
So they could come with. So my dad was on every trip with us because he was actually still a teacher at the time too, but he would get off from his other job as well, which was as a naturalist for the Hamilton County Parks District. So that was always a great experience, like getting to have my dad with us. I think there was only 1 or 2 trips he missed. And that was like way later in my scouting career. Like when I went to Philmont, he didn't come.
Oh yeah.
But like
I never went to Philmont.
I was like 15. It was like now is the
yeah.
perfect time for like Brendan to go out on his own. Like he can have this experience by himself. But yeah, so we go to this. So the reason we never went to Freelander is because it's too close. Literally, our scoutmaster was like, "It's too close."
that's the whole reason.
These 11 and 12-year-olds are gonna go, Mom, come pick me up.
Oh yeah, okay.
I want to sleep in this stupid tent with all these stupid other kids.
That's fair.
And he was absolutely right, because I know a lot of kids a lot of my friends went to troops that exclusively went to Freelander, and a lot of their 11 and 12-year-olds, they were like, Mom, come pick me up. I don't want to sleep in this stupid tent.
That's why we don't let them have access to phones.
Well, they'd ask an adult for like, I don't feel good. Mom, come pick me up. I don't want to sleep in this stupid tent. Because that's how 11-year-olds sound. No, so we'd take them 2 hours away and force them to sleep in this stupid tent. And it worked.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was awesome. So what we did was every other year, so we'd do summer camp, high adventure, which was not, we did not go to one like the BSA high adventure camps. We would go to, like, we would design our own trip that we as the scouts picked ourselves.
Yeah.
So that was the Adirondacks trip that we went on. We had picked, like, the patrol leader said, like, planned out that trip. I helped plan one to the Appalachian Trail, one to the Ozarks out in Missouri, which was awesome. That was a great trip.
Yeah.
We went to DC one time, or that was the Appalachian Trail trip. We canoed down the Green River in Kentucky, about 33 miles down that, which was awesome. Got to go night canoeing, which was a crazy experience.
You guys did a lot cooler things than your trip.
That's what was awesome. And I was one of 3, I think I was the first of like my friend group. So like I had like, what was it, 5 or 6 friends that were like, we were all pretty much a similar age, you know, guys like, we were all like seniors or juniors. And I was one of the first guys to get my Eagle out of that group. And I got it like a week before the week of my 17th birthday.
Okay.
So I was one of the first guys in our troop to get it no, it was not the week of. It was May 1st? No, March 1st. March 31st. It was one of the M months, and either the 1st or the 31st of one of the 2 M months. I think it was March 31st. But yeah, so that was a big spike in Eagle Scouts, because like we have had a lot of Eagle Scouts in our troop, and they're actually, each of their names is on the side of our trailer which is really cool.
Yeah. We just got a little plaque that hangs somewhere.
Ours went with us
cool.
everywhere.
That's
It was really cool.
Yeah,
so like we would go back and like look for our scoutmaster. We would look back at like other guys like from the troop, and you know it had a pretty big lineage with Our Lady of the Rosary over in Green Hills.
I know where that is.
Yeah. So their Troop 400 is where that is.
Gotcha. Nice.
Yeah. So that was a great experience, and like I genuinely felt like I had earned my Eagle Scout because I had like grown up so much through the experiences Boy Scouts had offered me.
Yeah.
And so it was a really great experience. Yeah. And so like a bunch of my friends then got their Eagles right after me. And we were all like 17, like we're all, you know, now leaders in the troop. I think it was a junior assistant scoutmaster was like, you know, so my friend Trevor was senior patrol leader. And then me and my friend Noah and one other guy were all junior assistant scoutmasters.
That's awesome.
We were essentially done with Boy Scouts, but we were still around, and we like until we aged out, and then we even still I think I even still showed up a couple meetings after my 18th birthday. Actually, the night of my 18th birthday was a scout meeting, so I went to that.
Nice.
Yeah, I went and got dinner with my family and my girlfriend at the time, and then we went to that scout meeting, which was just really fun to like get to spend that like kind of last hurrah with the fellas.
Yeah, definitely. Community you grew up with, yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time. But
awesome stuff.
Yeah, lots of fun trips with that.
Did you do the Pinewood Derby?
I did not. I never did Cub Scouts.
You never did Cub Scouts?
No.
So
my parents were too afraid I'd be burnt out by the time I got to Boy Scouts, and they would have been absolutely right.
Well, that's what happened to me essentially. Yeah. Well, partially it was also because I was getting more into football, and I couldn't commit to Boy Scouts and football at the same time, especially because with St. X being like just super into their sports. Just like it feels like a job when you're doing sports at St. X. But
I mean it's high school, you're not really doing anything. In all honesty. Yeah.
But I absolutely love the Pinewood Derby, and I would always win best workmanship solely because I would put a coat of gloss over my paint to make it nice and shiny.
Fancy.
Yeah.
All right.
But I would never get like fastest or anything. But my younger brother, because my uncle was able to keep the track. He was like the official track keeper.
Ooh.
And he has his own wood shop. He basically like engineered the fastest Pinewood Derby car that you could ever build, essentially. He did all the research for it. He tried all different types of woods. He was like the person.
He's like, well, pine is really great because you get the weight, but balsa is just so light it zips down.
Well, what was your pack?
944 St. Max.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, you were in the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw you. Or if I did, I totally don't remember. So.
Yeah. I mean, I was only ever in.
Because that story reminded me. Because there was somebody who.
I was in Cub Scouts for Bear and Weeblo 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then I joined Boy Scouts for the first year and then dropped out. Yeah. So I wasn't in it for very long, but.
Yeah. What years were you in Cub Scouts?
It was like 7th, 8th grade. It was like middle school. Okay. Officially, when I got to high school, I was
yeah.
You were done. Yeah.
Yeah, because I joined as a wolf, so yeah, that was 06, 07.
Were you in the same? Were the foremans in that?
I don't think so.
Were they in your
been
troop
like
or
2 years ahead of me?
Yeah. Dang.
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
where
so.
the
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where the foremans were too. Yeah. Because I know Paco like met them through Boy Scouts. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
He's my brother, by the way, Paco.
Everybody
knows Paco.
Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows who Paco is. Paco has his own podcast going on. Yeah. Have you ever been on Paco's podcast?
No, he hasn't invited me.
See, I'm better than Paco. Proof. This is the second sibling I've replaced. I replaced Claire Vaguely because she's going to become she's currently a nun, so
that's kind of hard to get
but then also Matthew Vaguely has said I'm his favorite sibling, so yeah. So now I'm your favorite sibling.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
So I guess I'm replacing Paco.
Yeah.
Sweet, I run SSP now, guys.
He's busy with archdiocese
It's a coup.
stuff, you know. It's
We're taking over. Taking over the entire young adult scene in Cincinnati.
Paco would probably thank you for that.
Yeah, honestly,
if you want to transform,
I might be doing him a favor. But yeah, Boy Scouts was a great experience. Yeah. Lots of we did a mulch sale. 14,000 bags of mulch in a day. It was a lot. Yeah, and I was in charge of that 2 years in a row. That's actually why I'm the major I am now, is because like I was in charge of like the delivery process.
Oh wow!
So like loading up the trucks, making sure they were like had the right route sheets, and so I was like, this is fun. Let's study logistics after engineering was the worst. But the funniest story I have about mulch is we're done with the day. Everything went great. We're like cleaning everything up, and we had this like little A-frame kind of shed thing. We called it the doghouse, but essentially it was like an A-frame with a whiteboard on each side, and there were like little like shelf things coming off the top that were like, you know, coverings for the whiteboards. Mm-hmm. This thing was heavy beyond belief. So me and my yard pup, which was like my second in command, the guy who was supposed to take over for me, this is my first year being yard dog, we're carrying it back to like where we're gonna load it up. We go to set it down, and I had the heavier end, so I go to just drop it to not crush my fingers. All of a sudden, I did not realize how top the close was. It comes down and just like slams me in like the top of my lip.
Oh gosh!
Slices it clean open. You could see into like my tooth. It was a pretty deep cut. Didn't end up needing stitches, but I had a sweet scar. And now it's gone. Because my mom was like, you should put scar ointment so you don't have a scar. And I was like, Mom, scars are cool. Yeah. But it's still there. Like, it's still super lightly there, but you cannot see it well. Yeah. Like, unless you know, like, unless I point to exactly where it is. I have a picture of, like, my face right after it happened. Like, right when I got home, I took a picture because I was like, this is so cool.
You have blood gushing out?
Oh, yeah. Like, this whole spot of, like, my face was just covered in blood.
Awesome.
It got me on the chin a little bit, too. I think it had gotten my nose a tiny bit. Yeah, that was a fun injury.
Yeah.
That was up there with one of the worst injuries I've, like, you know, I've had.
So far.
Another pretty rough one was so I was in Florida, just like on vacation with my mom and my aunt because she was living down there, and we're, you know, it's like mid-December, so it's like, you know, 50 degrees out. We're out by the ocean, or no, we were on the Gulf side. Sorry, and there's these like rocks that are like cutting the surf, and so I'm climbing out on these rocks, and I go to like step from one to the other, and it's farther away and slippier than I thought.
Oh no.
So my leg goes whoop right in the water, but unbeknownst to me, between three rocks, shreds the front of my shin.
Oh my god.
I didn't notice. I pull my leg out, I'm like, damn, my shorts are wet. My mom's gonna kill me. And I'm like, my leg stings. Oh, would you look at that? I've been impaled. So I'm like, Mom, get a towel. And I kind of like hobble my way. And she's like, what is going on? My aunt, thank God, is a trained, like, you know, she works as a traveling speech pathologist, but like also that means she has some first aid experience because she works with either elderly people or like young children who have, you know, speech impairments.
Yeah.
So it helps that she has that like kind of hands-on training. So she was able to help us really quick. And thankfully she used her really nice towel, which was the only towel we had brought with us, to wrap my leg. It ruined it because
what a great sacrifice.
But it was, I was like genuinely like, wow, that was really nice of Aunt Laura to do that. So thank you, Aunt Laura, if you ever listen to this. Thank you for that towel. I know you really like that towel. Like we had talked earlier in that day, we had talked about, I found these really nice towels at Target. And then
and she'll never
they're
find
covered
them
in
again.
blood. Yeah. So thank you for the sacrifice of that towel. It was all for the sake of my leg. Yeah, so that actually still has a cool scar.
Oh, yeah?
But I got back to Cincinnati and I was like, yeah, I got bit by a shark. People were like, what? And I was like, yeah, dude, it was a rock shark. And they're like, what's a rock shark? I was like, it's a couple rocks. It's a shark that can disguise itself as rocks, and it traps people by their legs fall into its mouth. Yeah, it was crazy. I barely got out with my life. At least 4 people believed me. I was like, wow, that's scary. You guys are dumb. Like,
or you're just very trustworthy.
Or I'm very good at BSing stuff. So like, but there were at least 3 people that were like, really? You got bit by a shark? I was like, no.
Man, what a great reputation.
I wouldn't be here if I got bit by a shark. My leg would be gone. Like, yeah. So that was a fun time in high school. Just being able to mess with people and be like, yeah, I got bit by a shark, and then go, what?
If you had to lose a limb, would you have lost that limb? Or were you...
I mean, it was my left leg.
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, at that time, I probably would say no because I was still at like peak ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, I think, sophomore year. So like, I hadn't quite hit my peak when it came to ultimate yet. So I was like, probably I would not have chosen that limb.
There you go.
Because legs are pretty important. I might have chosen my left arm actually over everything.
Yeah.
Because I can throw and catch with one hand. In all honesty.
Do you have any like just dumb injuries that could have easily been avoided?
That one for sure. Just like, I did not need to go that way to step to that rock. Okay. I could have gone around the other way. But there are definitely other worse ones. Honestly, every injury I've ever had has been very avoidable. One that my friends always love to give me crap about is I pulled my groin at ultimate practice one time.
Oh, gosh.
Let me tell you, don't. I can't stretch beyond, but like you're like, oh, I'm stretched enough. You're not. You never are. It was not a fun experience. Like literally, the guy I was covering made one cut, and I had pulled it earlier in the day during stretching.
Oh my god.
And it was like I just kind of tweaked it, and then the guy I was covering made one cut. This leg went a little too far that way, boink, and I was like, oh, and I just fell over. Like, I think people thought I like tore my ACL or something. I was like, nope.
Nope,
pulled
there's something else.
And I just kind of like shifted my body, like wormed my way over to the sideline. Just kind of laid there. I was like, ow, ow. Stretched it out for a minute, hopped back up, ran around for another about 5 minutes, made another bad cut, and I was like, nope, I'm done for tonight. Sub, like, injury, someone get in here. Oh my God. Had someone sub out for me.
That's really rough.
That one was also very avoidable because I could have just stretched like half a second more. So then every tournament beyond that, I was like super well stretched. I think I like tweaked it one more time later in high school because I think that was junior year that I pulled it, or like the winter of junior year that I pulled it. And obviously like, that was not a long-term like, oh, Brendan's out for the rest of the year injury. That was a, hey, idiot, stretch more. Like, but there were definitely points where I was like, hey, I'm just going to sit this one. My leg is like on fire. Go to the sideline, stretch, drink some body armor, and then walk back on the field. And you're like, all right, I'm fine. I'll power through. Yeah, there were people with way worse injuries when I played Ultimate. Still, the most wild thing I've ever seen on an Ultimate field was it was my friend James Morris. He goes out there, had taken like, I think like, it wasn't, that was a different time. He was not feeling well at Central Regional, at the Central Regional Championship. He wasn't feeling well, runs off the side of the field, throws up in a garbage can, and runs back onto the field in the same like break between points. Didn't ask for a sub, just was going.
Absolute, like, wow, unit.
What? What is going on? And then I think like he just made a bunch of crazy plays that next one. Like he was balling out, and I was like, all right. But then another time, my junior year, my friend Jeremy, he had taken somewhere from 6 to 9 ibuprofen the night before, maybe 10. Anyways, he threw them all up on the sideline and then went back out on the field. It was like, what is wrong with you people? Like, that was just a lot of wild things I witnessed on the side of Ultimate Fields.
There you go.
Yeah. It was a fun time.
Wow.
Yeah, also had a lot of other stupid cramps, like, but it was like after the games ended, you're just like laying in bed at a hotel, and let me tell you, sleeping like in hotel sheets after you've been running all day is the worst because those blankets are so heavy, and you're like trying to move your leg, and it's just like, oh no, I can't move anything.
Or they're just like tucked so tightly.
Exactly.
Underneath the mattress.
So you try and like pull. I've had that like even today where I like try and pull them up and like my foot starts cramping. It's like, why? What is wrong with you? So then I get out of the bed and I'm like, get out of here. Yeah, that was always a brutal time, is cramping in the middle of the night at an ultimate tournament, because you're just like, I have to wake up tomorrow and do it all over again. Oh boy.
Love the pain. Yeah,
you gotta love the pain. Niggy, what about you? We've talked about some of Joey's crazy injuries. What about some of your crazy injuries?
Here's the thing. I don't really have a lot of like
He's too
actual
sheltered.
injuries. Yeah,
you gotta have one. I know you have one. Every homeschooler has that one.
I mean, okay, so like there was one like early like biking experience where I like absolutely ate it going over the handlebars because I hit the wrong brake. And so I just like I had like a cut on like I think it was like the back for whatever reason. I think it was either the back.
You did a full like flip?
Yeah, I just flipped over, like the handlebar like cut me somehow.
Could have been worse. You could have landed on your face. Like,
that could have been a lot
actually
worse.
Like,
yeah, it was really bad. That was one of the worst injuries. Yeah. Another one, not really an injury. I'm still like pissed at my brother to this day slightly. Is we were cleaning up the yard. Not really an injury again. And he had the leaf blower. What does he do with it? You know, he's like, let me just turn this sucker on and point it right at your face. And so all of that dust and debris went in my eyes. My eyes were stuck together for like, I don't know how long. Because I saw every day I would have to like peel them open, like because there was just stuff like. That's
brutal.
Yeah, I was just like, it still pisses me off.
That's like,
he's like, yeah, I was like, bro,
that's stressful. That's like, what?
Yeah, so that's another one.
Yeah.
What else has happened? I mean, I've been roof climbing. Nothing's really bad has happened during like my misadventures in like church bell towers and anything like that.
Yeah, that's fortunate.
Yeah. God spares me.
Yeah.
I've never broken any bones. I've just had a lot of like nosebleeds.
You ever had stitches?
Like, really? No, not even. I've just had nosebleeds at like really inconvenient times. Like there was I was in Princeville, House of Discernment. We went to watch a movie. It was like about one of the apostles. I forget which.
It's a very House of Discernment.
Probably movie. John. Probably John. I think it was John the Apostle or something. And for whatever reason, I guess it's just so dry. In that area. Because I remember having a lot more nosebleeds there. But that particular night, we were just watching the movie. I was sitting next to like a nun on my left, like a brother on my right, that type of thing. And suddenly I just like feel something like coming out of my nose. I'm like, frick. And then it's like a full on nosebleed in the theater. And I'm just like this the whole rest of the movie trying to watch while stemming it. And then that night, it bled again, like in the middle of the night.
Dude, that's the worst.
And
waking up to
I thought I was gonna choke on my blood.
Yeah,
that's how bad it was. It was like it kept going and going, and I was like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah,
so I had to get out of bed and try and really.
I used to get that a lot at the old house at the Stronghold.
Yeah.
It was really dry in there.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like during the winter when there's like those big shifts in like temperature.
Yeah.
And being up on like the higher floors, like our room where we were was like essentially an ice box. So you come out of the ice box, you go into the warmer rest of the house, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, drastic change in like environment. Poof. And it's like, why are you doing this? Yeah, luckily I haven't had that as much in this house, which has been very fortunate. But yeah, the Stronghold was not kind in that regard.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. Joey, have you ever had stitches or just the broken bone?
Well, with the golf cart accident, I had to get 10 stitches in my leg.
Okay. Was that just from the surgery?
That was from the surgery. Yeah. That wasn't from the accident itself. And I did break a bone. This is my stupid stupid injury story.
Awesome.
Your most avoidable? The drifting into a molehill isn't your most avoidable injury?
No, I didn't. That had nothing to do with me.
I guess that's true. You really
Yeah,
couldn't
it's not
avoid
your
that.
fault.
No,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
not
yeah.
my fault. I was just a bystander in all of that.
Yeah.
No. So, I was about to say that was the first time I broke a bone, and that's false because I broke a bone. I actually broke my toe before that, and this happened in 7th grade. So we had this. It wasn't really like a babysitter. It was more just like, it's kind of like this lady who has kids come to her house, and so we would get dropped off there, and she would kind of take care of us while my parents are still. It was kind of like a latchkey for just random kids.
Yeah, we had a similar set of people living down the street from us.
And so
Yeah.
there was this one kid, I absolutely hated him. And we
There
were
always
playing some video game downstairs in the basement. He starts like taunting me and like just getting on me because I'm dying or whatever I was doing. Not figuring out whatever puzzle we were I don't remember what we were playing. But it gets to the point where we were kind of shoving each other. And
you roundhouse kicked him in the face.
and I pushed him down.
Ah.
And I proceed to kick him while he's on the ground.
Okay, I wasn't far
I
off.
was like, dang, all right.
And so
He played football. What are you explaining? Like, not to stereotype, but
Wow,
like that's
all right.
well within the realm of
that's-
reason.
Fair enough.
but I had like a brief moment where I did taekwondo. I only made it like 2 belts and then I stopped. But I learned nothing because I never learned to like pull my toes back or anything because I didn't have any shoes on, and so when I went to kick, I kicked him square in the hip.
Oh.
And just shattered my toe. And so like he's yelling, I'm yelling, we're all just like rolling around on the floor.
Yeah.
I guess getting hit in the hip bone would be kind of sucky. But
Yeah,
I
it
would
would
definitely much prefer to be hitting the hip bone than like the soft part right above it.
Oh yeah.
Like that gap between like the hip bone and the ribs.
Yeah.
That's where you really want to hit. If you want to do some damage with a kick, that's
But
the
like,
spot.
Good to know, Brent.
I've never
just being
really gotten into fights. Like at grade school, it was really more just like verbal bullying and stuff. There was no like physical fights.
And
that was like the only time during like middle school where like I really had some sort of like altercation with a kid.
Yeah. I had a couple like altercations, never like any fights. It helped that I was homeschooled. But like
yeah.
there was this one,
yeah, definitely.
but like there were kids in my neighborhood that like, you know, we would
yeah.
occasionally have like tiffs, but I had Nerf swords. So we just use those.
Yeah.
And that was way better. You wanna let out some rage, hit someone with a Nerf sword. It says don't stab, poke, or jab. We did all of that. It also doesn't say don't swing sideways. We did all 4 of them. Like we were just whoop bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
It's a really good way to let out a lot of anger though, in a relatively nonviolent way. We never drew blood. And
There
I
you
think
go. That's
I
good
think
though.
that's the most we get. The only time I think we got close to drawing blood was when like we would fight on like a wall or something and one of us would fall out and like fall off and scrape our knee or something. It's like, meh, it didn't really draw blood. Like obviously in the moment, because I was a like 7-year-old, I would cry because I was like, oh, I'm bleeding. But like looking back at it, it's like the bare minimum we could have asked for is like, yeah, all right. I guess that's the best we could have asked for is like, oh, we fell off a wall and like I scraped my hand because I fell off a wall. Like, yeah, injuries are always a funny story. We on our way to a tournament one time, we all counted how many, me and like 3 other people counted how many scars we have. And I actually won. Wow. I was shocked. I don't get injured that much. And I still have, like, there's a scar on my pinky that I have no idea where it came from. It has been there since I was about 11. And I just don't ever remember it appearing, but it's there. I have a scar on my knee from landing on a bottle cap as a kid. The shark bite. The dropping the thing on my face. And then there were like 2 or 3 others that I just can't think of. I think there's another scar on my hand somewhere that, again, I just was there one day. I woke up and I was like, oh, scar, cool. But I think that's the best way to get a scar, is you just wake up and you go, oh, nice.
I mean, I've got one on my thumb that I got from hitting myself with a 400-degree soldering iron.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like I was asking for it because it was 3:00 in the middle of the night, and I was.
What were you doing?
I was just trying to.
Let me just solder at this hour.
No, I was trying to do my homework. I had to make a sculpture. Out
Kids,
of
don't go to
copper wire.
industrial design.
Yeah,
It'll hurt you. It'll literally burn you.
Yeah.
They were like, "All right, here's a soldering kit. Now go get some copper wire and make a sculpture." And so I had the bright idea of making like an anglerfish sculpture, but I did not start it until like 11:00 at night.
Yeah.
And so I was just
Don't
soldering,
procrastinate, kids.
soldering in the middle
Don't
of the night.
procrastinate.
And it comes on this little stand, and it was plugged into the wall, so it like kind of was getting pulled off the table, and so I instinctively try to grab it when it's falling, and
Yeah.
get hit in the
That'll
thumb,
do it.
and then it proceeds to hit the floor and just starts burning the nasty dorm carpet.
Oh.
Who knows what has been on that
What
carpet?
atrocities have been experienced by that
And
carpet.
it was
That was in
worst
Daniels too,
smell.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was the worst
Ew.
smell of just like burnt dorm carpet.
In
Gosh.
Daniels of all places. That carpet. That's brutal. Yeah. Anyways, that was a good
Carpet
40
should
minute.
not be allowed in dorms. Just
Yeah.
at all.
It was a good 40-minute tangent about injuries and carpeting. That was fun. I think we're gonna wrap it up there because we're at about. Well, we've got a little more time. We can keep going a little bit. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see how much of this I end up
Well,
cutting.
what else you got up your sleeve?
Um,
That was to give you a segue. in
I
case you wanted to do it.
I like gassed my entire.
please finish this
Hey,
sentence quickly.
No, my
Don't hesitate too much longer. This is getting.
Uncomfortable.
no. So
evolving
I was
quickly.
using turpentine paint thinner
Okay.
Still
not
so-
going great.
to make a model out of clay for class.
Okay, we've hit the normal point.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
And so I was just like using turpentine for this model, and I didn't use any sort of fume hood or anything, and I just did it in the classroom when no one else was there because it was still, again, in the middle of the night. And then everyone walks into class the next day, and it's just like, what is that smell? And then they track it back to me, and they're just like, why did you do this in here? I'm like, because my teacher told me to use turpentine, and now I've been smelling paint thinner for like the last 5 hours. I think I've lost a couple of brain cells.
I've been huffing paint thinner for a minute, man.
Woo!
That's
What a rush.
that's
The
brutal.
first year of DAP, they make you do some wild stuff. And then after your first year, they put you on like a tablet or an iPad, and then you draw from there.
I
But,
still
like,
have never been in that stupid building.
all of the
interesting.
model making and building that
You've
they
been
make
in-
you do
Yeah.
is just, you don't know what you're doing, and most people get injured.
Yeah.
I originally wanted to go into ID, but yeah, that didn't pan out.
I have zero desire to do anything of that sort of art. That's
Yeah.
just not my thing. I can appreciate it. I can look at a cool, like a well-designed implement, like tool, and I go, "This is good. I like this." Could not do it to save my life.
Sweet concepts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also have to learn how to not cry because you get berated a lot in
Yeah.
DAP.
This
Just
is
like
You get a
terrible.
thicker skin. Yeah.
you gotta learn how to just like if they don't like your design, you gotta sit there and you just gotta take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the way that mug is designed. You know, the handle is too far up. It's too heart shaped. It's just terrible.
Why did you put two handles on your mug?
Why are there two handles and why are they attached to each other?
Why is the opening a triangle and then it has like two handles? Just
for
like,
the
what
aesthetic. The aesthetic.
What is this mug? Make it make sense. The handles are here and here, and the triangle is like this. What? Alternatively, you hold it upside down so like it just comes out of the narrow part, but it's like awkward that you're holding it like a feeding trough of some kind. That's a cool mug design. I would buy that mug.
Brendan. Yeah.
Just for
commission.
Yeah,
here,
commission.
I'm
commissioning you to make me a mug that is a triangle with the handles on the
an absolute atrocity
on the axes. Doesn't matter which two axes, they just have to be it's a triangle, so they all touch each other. Just has to be the most inconvenient mug design.
Put the handles on the inside.
There you go. Make it 4 handles, 2 on the inside, 2 on the outside. Maybe a little hook on the last one. Just to useless, doesn't do anything. It's just there. I think that's the most inconvenient mug design. 2 hooks, one on the inside.
There's some designer on the internet that like comes up with the worst.
The guy who makes the uncomfortable mug.
Yeah, it's just
like
he
the
makes,
thick fork.
The worst.
Yeah.
Well, there was also like silverware that was made out of like chain.
Yeah.
So you're just like you sit there with the fork just like hanging. It's just like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Just kind of like lower it,
or just like open toe rain boots.
Yes. Yeah. An umbrella that catches all the water.
Yeah. Just an upside down umbrella.
Yeah. But all it does is just catch
like,
the water. There's nowhere for the water to go once you catch it.
Actually, I would use that. I would just be like, catch it, and then.
Well, but then eventually it overflows, and then the water's just gonna pour out over the sides.
Then you're just a fountain.
Yeah, exactly. I'm okay with looking like a fountain or using it as like an offensive.
I still want.
I feel like that would be
the wind
useful.
umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
There have been many prototypes of the wind umbrella. I still want that to become a real thing.
Yeah.
It just blows out a sheet of air above you, and it pushes all the water out.
Mm-hmm.
Over-engineered. Yeah.
Over-engineered for sure.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You say over-engineered, I say, holy crap, that's cool. Like,
that's fair.
That's the reality.
Yeah, a lot of over-engineered things are.
Yeah, it's like, this is over-engineered beyond all belief. Like, the Hoover Dam is not by any means over-engineered. It'd be so much cooler if it was, though. Like, imagine if, like, instead of, having, like, we've got these safety channels that, like, flow around, it was just a giant turbine. Just like replace the entire wall, just a giant water turbine. Over-engineered beyond belief. It actually doesn't power anything. It actually draws more power than it provides. But holy crap, does it look cool. My redesign for the Hoover Dam.
Nice.
On top of that, drawbridges across the Grand Canyon.
Oh, okay. I would definitely get behind. Yeah.
Yep.
I love a good drawbridge.
Now, why are they drawbridges? Doesn't matter. They're drawbridges.
It has to be
it's one drawbridge all the way across.
It has to be the farthest part.
Yes, the farthest. Yeah, no, absolutely farthest possible point of the Grand Canyon. One-way drawbridge. Not one of these. Not one of these.
One way.
Those,
one way. Like a gate for a castle. On top of that, you got to build a building next to it to make it look like it's a castle. And only one side gets it. That's the rules. Over-engineered? Yes. Super cool looking? Yes. Yeah.
How tall would that have to be?
Literally, it's 10 miles across. It would be 10 miles in the air. That's it'd be pretty cool.
No expanding sections. Just
absolutely
straight up.
No, it has to be
it's
one.
Gotta be,
none of this ratcheting bold crap. No, just 10 miles of concrete straight in the air.
Just do
that can just pivot down.
A single pour drawbridge.
Single pour drawbridge. You pour it straight up and down.
I see nothing wrong with this.
You pour it straight up and down, and then there's a little lever at the bottom that someone can pull, and it just
Minecraft physics apply.
The little lever drops and it just goes boop. But there's no pulleys to slow it down. It goes full speed. 10-mile tall wall of concrete.
I feel like that's just a one shot, like you kill everybody beneath the like.
Well, it's the Grand Canyon. Hopefully there's no one in there.
I don't know. Maybe somebody wants to go explore.
I mean, to be fair, I definitely would explore the bottom of the Grand Canyon. That was so I got to see that last fall. That was such a cool experience.
Yeah.
Very, very fun time.
I've been once on the way to Legoland. Saw very little of it.
So on the way to Legoland.
I would like
nice.
to.
I was going to Vegas, so
I also
adult
was going to
Legoland. We made the mistake.
Like 10, yeah.
So my family and I made the mistake of we go to Vegas, go there. We stay in a hotel for one night, drive out to the Grand Canyon, which is an awesome drive. That drive is very cool. Even the part where there's nothing and there's just a few mountains that you can see like 30 miles away, still a very cool drive.
Mm-hmm. Just don't run out of gas.
Yeah, just do not. You will die. Like, no joke. You're gonna die. There was one gas station between the Grand Canyon and Las Vegas. Like,
Rip.
or no, sorry. There was the last stop, which at one point was literally the last stop between Las Vegas and the Grand Canyon. So we stopped there, and then we stopped at the truly last stop, which is just a single gas station on the corner of the road leading to the Grand Canyon. But we go there, so we go see the Grand Canyon. Coolest thing I've ever seen. Greatest experience ever. Drive back the next day. We stayed, watched the sunset, got up the next morning, watched the sunrise. Drive back towards Vegas. Stop at the Hoover Dam, which, let me tell you, don't see the Hoover Dam after you've seen the Grand Canyon. Huge. It's still cool.
It's still pretty damn big.
Huge letdown.
Did you get some dam snacks?
We did stop in the dam store. And I did buy a dam patch, but
nice.
Then we left. But like, you see the Grand Canyon, it's like, wow, that's like 3 miles down into the earth. And then you go to the Hoover Dam and it's like,
damn,
that's a big wall. I was genuinely more impressed by the bridge than I was the dam, in all honesty. There's like the crazy suspended bridge, or it's not a suspension bridge, it's a bridge. It's a dam bridge, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
Next to the dam.
Damn.
And like, it's cool, but it's like, after seeing the Grand Canyon, it's just like, it's a wall. Nice, good going, guys. You poured some concrete. Woo.
Did you look for Megatron or the Allspark or any of that?
No.
No,
But we did drive through the Valley of Fire.
Okay.
I kept an eye out for coyotes out there. That would have been cool.
Nice.
It was like 103 degrees, and my mom was not having a good time because it was, hotter than, like, I don't know, hotter than a lot of things. It was just really hot. Like, that was gonna be so loud. Yeah, it was really hot. And then my dad and I go, I want to climb on those rocks. And my dad goes, yeah, me too. And my mom's like, I'm going to stay in the car. I'm going to leave the AC on full blast. Have fun. So my dad and I go and climb on the rocks, and it was awesome. Then we come back and get in the car, and, it's all sandstone out there. Like, there's nothing other than sandstone. But it's all like this crazy, like, stratified, like, there's like this really pale and then really red and then like really orange. It was just really cool. It's a fun experience. And everything was like, all the water was super low because it was like, late August, early September. Mm-hmm. So like, there has not been rain for a hot minute out there. Yeah, that was a cool experience. And then we went to Vegas, and I think I won $80 at a slot machine.
Nice.
So I was pretty happy with that. I was like, all right, cool.
What'd that go towards?
I don't remember, but my parents lent me some money, and that's what I won it on. So it was a net profit no matter what. Like, I wasn't losing any money, so I was like, all right, cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that started my addiction with gambling, and now we're here where I have bets.
This is an intervention.
Yes, actually,
I forgot to tell
actually,
you.
this has all been an intervention. The last 3 hours have been an intervention.
We've been working up to it slowly.
Yeah.
It's
gotten to the point where I have 3 sports bets that are sitting waiting for the NBA games tonight to happen, and I don't even watch the NBA that consistently. I watch it just enough to know yeah, this is reasonable to happen. But it's fun.
It's not a problem.
I've put 15 I put 15 total dollars into any of the apps that I sports bet on. So
there you go.
I think I'm doing pretty good.
Did you bet it all on the Super Bowl?
No.
No?
I did bet I bet $10 on the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I limit myself to $5 per bet or $10 if it's something that's occasionally they'll do these deals. They did them really early on where it's if you they give you an odds boost, which is essentially they make sure that you're, if this certain thing happens, you're going to double your money, even though it's something that's super likely to happen. And there were 3 back-to-back weekends of one was if the Browns score a single point, you double your money. If the Bengals score a single point, you double your money. If the Bengals score a single point, you double your money. I bet on all of those. I put $5 to $10 on each of them. So I walked away with $30 from all of those all together. I was like, all right, this is easy. And then, I had 2 really good bets that ended up.
That's how they get you.
It's how they get you for sure. But here's the thing: I'm still operating on an overall net positive. I have not.
That's what every gambler says until they lose.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: I don't bet big enough that I'll lose a lot of money. I bet $5 here and there.
Yeah.
I leave so after I win my large amount of money, right? I leave $50 in the app. That is my betting money, right? I don't put any more in the app outside of that $50 that I've, previously won.
Yeah.
So then I bet $5 here and there, the occasional $10 bet with that $50. And if I lose it all, if I bet all the way down to 0, I can't put any money back in the app. I will delete it off my phone. But
okay, so it feeds itself. Okay.
Yeah, but any money I win, fills back up that $50, and then if it goes beyond that, it goes beyond that. And then I work my way back, or I withdraw any money to leave myself with $50, bet my way back down.
Huh.
And then, because, every once in a while you just got to hit those safety bets of just I know this will net me money. I know that this is 100% going to happen. And there are definitely, especially exclusively sports betting. This is not at all any advice for slots or anything like that. This is exclusively when it comes to sports. There are certain things in sports that you can say, this is a certainty. And I tend to bet on those sort of things. The bet that won me a lot of money was Steph Curry to score a lot of points. Draymond Green to score not as many, but still some points. And Klay Thompson to shoot a lot of 3-pointers. Those are all things that I know will happen. As blue as the sky is, those things are going to happen.
It looks outside.
Yeah, it is nighttime outside, but that's not the point. As brown as this table is, those things are going to happen. And they did. And I won $4,000 because of it.
Dang.
So,
and that's how you got this.
And that's how I got all this stuff.
Sweet setups.
And I still have a lot of that money left
Big
over,
wins.
because I could have spent more money on this stuff, but I was like, no, I just need stuff. But yeah, sports betting is fun. I don't take it too seriously. I'm not gonna ever try and make that my profession or anything. But I know a lot about sports, and it's nice to be able to make money based off that knowledge. So might as well use it for something.
Yeah.
Fantasy football is fun and all, but if I can make money off of it, I'm gonna. But yeah. Also, they had all those deals at the start of the year that were here's $200 in free bets, which is actually how I won the $4,000. I bet $200 and $100 on these 2 very similar bets that ended up paying out $3,800 total.
Dang.
So it worked out great, and that was during the March for Life that happened. I'm sitting on the bus with Johnny Condit. I'm like, dude, the game went to overtime. Steph Curry hits a 3-pointer. I was like, that's it. That's all I needed. We got it.
That's awesome.
So I was very excited. That was a good time. Yeah, of course that money didn't show up till Monday, but I had cash for DC, and there were definitely times where I was like, I can buy that large soda. I just want $4,000. Worth it. And it was. Yeah. So I don't suggest people get into sports betting, but it's fun. If you know you have a problem with that sort of thing, don't. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. But if you feel that you can control yourself, which I know that I can control myself when it comes to that sort of thing, and if you set very clear boundaries and tell people about those boundaries and have them check in occasionally, hey, how are you doing? Sean, Carter, and Brian will all occasionally ask hey, even Mike, they'll all tend to go, hey, how's sports betting going? And I'm just yeah, I haven't won anything recently. There was a 2-week stretch where I just didn't bet on anything. Of course, it was after the Bengals lost, so I just didn't want to deal with sports at all.
Yeah.
But
not in the mood.
Yeah.
I won $30 when LeBron James broke the NBA scoring record, and I was like, all right, sweet. I'll take it. So it's just kind of a fun little pass the time, make some extra cash on the side. That's my true side hustle is sports betting. I actually made more money from sports betting than I did from working an actual job last year. Which is both a positive and a negative.
Yeah.
A, I just didn't work that much, but B, sports betting was very lucrative. So yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. Gambling in general is fun. But you gotta be controlled about it.
There we go. It's yeah.
Dude, church festivals,
bars and bells.
I have lost more money on bars and bells than I have on anything else in my life. I'm so sure of that. I've put more money on that stupid game than I have on anything else, and I think the most I ever walked away with was 30 cents. Because you're just it's got to be this one.
It's okay.
That's
it's
where
going to the church.
That's where the stat of 97% of bettors quit just before they win a gazillion dollars. That was my mindset going to bars and bells. I was like, this is the one. It's gotta be.
As you dish it.
This is the one. This is the. Open 6 at once. None of these. All right. Just develop a system of just all right, go. All right, this one is worth 50 cents. Give me 10 more. Yeah. Yeah, Joey Schlick and I were texting each other the other day about sports betting, and he was like, dude, don't give up. Because everyone quits before they hit it big.
He's your enabler.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. I'm
this is what I needed to hear. This is the mindset I need. I just need to bet on everything. I will hit it big. And then I did, and I was like, I got to keep going. But, yeah. The one thing I haven't figured out is daily fantasy. So daily fantasy is you draft a team of specific players, and it's fantasy football or fantasy basketball. I am so bad at that. I've played fantasy football for a while, and I've had mixed success. This last year, I was second in one of my leagues. But I cannot just on any given day pick these players are gonna have a day. I just can't do it. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm inundated by choice. Or just there's a salary cap, so you can only select certain players. Because yeah, obviously anyone can pick Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. I'm just gonna pick those guys every week. You can't because they all cost too much money. Because you have to fill out your whole roster. But I just have not had success with that. And it's 50 cents to enter certain contests, and the payout is $1,500. I think the most I've ever won back from one of those was $4. I just never do well enough on guessing who's gonna have a good day. It's even harder for basketball because past the top 6 players, you just have no clue who anyone is. Just who are these people? What position does this guy? It says forward. What does he even do? So then you just start looking at the projected points, and it's all right, 12.6 compared to 12.5. But the one guy's $100 more. What do I do? But yeah, that's a whole nother side of sports betting that I just have not had any success with whatsoever. But guessing the outcome of a game, I've decent success with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun stuff though. I'm glad it's finally like legal. Cause like this is a new thing that like I can get people.
I heard there were
to.
some conspiracies about
Oh, there definitely is like
yeah.
some greater conspiracy of like the NBA and the NFL are like just gonna make so much money off of sports betting. But they haven't made any money off of me, so you know what? Eat it. They made $15 off of me, and then they lost $4,000. So,
yeah, I'll take that. Yeah,
a win is a win, you know. Anyways, we've been rambling for a while.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
We should probably wrap it up.
That one.
Yeah, thank you for joining us for the past. Now I think we're at 2 hours on this
Dang.
one. Yeah, I'm back. Hello. So essentially what just happened, you may have noticed a small jump cut there. So what I did was I took about 40 minutes of stuff and cut it from the episode. It was really boring. We didn't really, talk about anything that interesting. But my offer is, if you want to see it, you the viewer, I can release a supercut of the episode with all the stuff that I cut out. And yeah, if you want to see that, I guess put something in the comments. If you have my number, text me, and I will release that somewhere. Because it is funny stuff, but it's not. It just wasn't episode worthy. So if you want to know what I don't think is episode worthy with all the other stuff I left in here, find out. Let me know, and I'll show it to you. But outside of that, I hope you really enjoyed this episode, and I'll let myself see us out. So enjoy the next 2 minutes.
You might want to cut it in half.
So I don't know if the whole of this will ever see the light of day.
But please, no.
That hour or so that does, we hope you enjoy. The other hour may eventually find its way onto the internet. Who knows?
Not anytime soon.
It's
hopefully.
At the very least in my iCloud somewhere. So you better hold my password secure.
Yeah, exactly. That was an invitation to hackers if I ever heard one.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for coming on. This has been great.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back in podcasting mode. So thank you guys for being the first guests. And thank you, Mrs. Allender, for again giving us your name to use. Well, I guess not really your name, but just, for being someone's mom. And this being your favorite podcast. So that way we can call it your mom's favorite podcast.
There you go.
Bye.